Then coming to the surgical management. So, when all these conditions, when all this medical line of management using elemental diet and adopting the hepatoprotective strategies, all these strategies, if they do not work and the patient is having some complications like diarrhea which cannot be controlled, fluid and electrolyte imbalance on a daily basis. So, then comes the surgical management. So, once patient has reached a plateau in the advancement of the enteral nutrition and all the other strategies have been exhausted, still needing parental nutrition and patient is having some complications because of parental nutrition, then do we resort to surgical management. So, what is the concept on which the surgical management is based? To preserve and maximize the intestinal remnant length, improve the intestinal function. So, to improve the intestinal function, what is known as intestinal tapering is done. So, what is this intestinal tapering? So, as we have already discussed about this, because of this constant effort on the small intestine to increase the absorptive capacity, the intestine tends to increase in the diameter and eventually some amount of hypomotility happens. So, basically it will be a dilated short intestine and whose absorptive capacity has decreased drastically because of this dilatation of the small bowel. So, we do what is known as intestinal tapering, wherein we decrease the diameter of the small bowel, so that the diameter of small bowel decreases and again the absorptive capacity accordingly increases. So, that is intestinal tapering. So, then we prolong the intestinal transit to increase the contact time of the food contents with the intestinal wall. So, what all can be done? One is reverse intestinal segment, usage of the intestinal valves, colonic interposition, recirculating loops and retrograde intestinal pacing. So, these are all kind of procedures which are not followed on a routine basis, but these have been used, tried, and sometimes they can be used also. To increase the absorptive area, we have two procedures, one is LILT, other one is called the step procedure. So, let us see as to what all these procedures actually are. So, one is the creation of the intestinal valve. So, these are the intestinal valves that have been artificially created. Other one is retrograde intestinal pacing. So, pacers can be placed and it can be used to decrease the to increase the transit time, to decrease the motility in that part of segment, we can use retrograde pacing, or else we can interpose a segment of the small bowel in a retrograde fashion. So, basically we had a length of small bowel, we take out around 10 centimeters of small bowel and anastomose it in a reverse way, so that around 10 centimeters of the small bowel is anti-peristaltic. So, in this way we are increasing the transit time. So, other one is the recirculating loop, wherein we create a segment of the small bowel which is circular in appearance, so that the small bowel contents enter like this and they keep recirculating for some time before they enter the ileum and the colon. So, we are increasing the transit time and increasing the time when the small bowel contents are in contact with the enterocyte, so that the absorption also increases correspondingly. So, one was we talked about the intestinal tapering. So, simplest one to do is fimbrication of the redundant loop. So, this is the redundant loop. It has gotten increased in the diameter because of the constant trying of the small bowel to increase the diameter. The motility will be bad and absorption will also be very bad. So, we do just what is known as the fimbrication. So, if we have fimbricated and we have decreased the diameter, so this becomes a functional small bowel loop. So, whenever the small bowel loop has become redundant, the chances of that patient developing short bowel bacterial overgrowth also increases. So, fimbrication definitely helps in decreasing the diameter and increasing the activity and the absorption in the small bowel. Then prolonging the intestinal transit, as we have already discussed, reversing the intestinal segment. As can be seen, this part of the intestinal segment has been reversed and it has been put in an anti-peristaltic way. So, by this increases the transit time of the small bowel. So, for adults the optimal length is about 10 centimeters and for children it is around 3 centimeters. So, what are all the advantages? It has slowed the intestinal transit because we have got an anti-peristaltic loop that is sitting there, improves the absorption because it has increased the contact area between the food and the enterocytes, reduced weight loss and prolongs the survival. So, these are all the purported advantages of the reversing the intestinal segment. So, coming to the surgeries to increase the absorptive surface, two most common surgeries that are performed, one is the Bianchi's procedure, that is longitudinal intestinal lengthening and tapering procedure. Other one is serial transverse enteroplasty, that is also called a step procedure. So, let us see what exactly is this LILT procedure. So, it is longitudinal intestinal lengthening and tailoring. So, also called as Bianchi's procedure or Bianchi's procedure. So, basically it requires a bowel which is dilated to more than 4 centimeters and a redundant small bowel. So, basically we have a dilated small bowel. What we do is we do a blunt dissection between the mesentery of the small bowel. So, basically mesentery has 2 leaves. So, we make a blunt dissection and try to separate the leaves of the small bowel, and then we divide the small bowel. So, we had a 4 centimeter big small bowel. So, we make a room between the mesentery and then we take a stapler and divide the small intestine, so that we have 2 small bowel loops and then we anastomose it like this. So, basically we create a window has been created here as can be seen, and then we divide the small bowel like this. So, we get 2 small bowel loops and then we anastomose it end to end, so that we have increased the length of the small bowel on a redundant small bowel. As can be seen in this pictorial representation, first we have created a window between the 2 leaves of the mesentery, then we apply stapler and divide the loop like this. So, then we get 2 segments and then we anastomose it. Then comes the serial transverse enteroplasty, also known as the Kim's procedure. So, this also requires a dilated bowel loop to more than 4 centimeters. What we do is we create multiple windows in the mesentery and alternatively we apply staplers. As can be seen, we apply multiple staplers here and multiple staplers in this region. So, serial transverse enteroplasty is done perpendicular to the length of the bowel, so that the final picture is like this. So, there is an increase in the length of the small bowel and also the redundancy of the small bowel is gone. So, this is the most common procedure that is used for intestinal lengthening, predominantly used by pediatric surgeons to increase the length. It is called serial transverse enteroplasty, relatively safer than the LILT procedure. So, stapler is applied perpendicular to the long axis of the bowel, creates a channel width of approximately 2 centimeters. End result will be zigzag pattern to the lengthened bowel, thus there is an increase in the length of the bowel.